GUI stuff, which you don't have to see in the start. Yeah, and yes.
Didn't you say earlier that it's easier for Rebol to do this because it's making the operating system it's sitting on, if it's somewhere else, do a lot of the work for it?
That's WX.
Oh, sorry.
That's what WX will delegate. No, Rebol always looks the same. I know we will come. It's an in 2 slides. But basically, Rebol does rendering on its own, and that's why it looks always the same. It's a completely different, opposite strategy of WX, which always looks the same.
Do you know if they have patents on this technology?
On this?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Be interesting.
Yes.
To try to emulate this kind of approach, but one could get in trouble under patent law.
Yes, I will come to that. So not the patent, I don't know, but I will come to that because that's a real interesting topic. Why I give this talk at the conference. Like I said, the text is rise time. My program calculated. I could also, for instance, text yellow, and then it would be just yellow because it's a predefined word. It's like things should be, or you expect them to be. And you have to also button write this later, of course. Yeah, if you hear the double quote, yeah, that's a string. That's one string value. And that's the syntax for char. If you what's this line in English?
Hash.
Dash.
Hash.
Thank you.
Hash or char.
Yeah, sure. Yes, like C#.
Pound sign is often what they call it, but that means something else in there.
Yeah, but and no, it only has outer. But it said that is one char, and it defines that key you press as equivalent to this button. So you can also push key button and quite also.
And abbreviation BTN.
No. Yes, that no, that was there are.
That was the buttons in the editor.
Yes, this is what was not quite the same. There's a print and there's a print. One is with and the other is without the we in Perl would say to the one say and to the other print. And there are some variations sometimes of words different. Or you know it better. What's the difference between these?
Too far away.
All right. So you see, all the end user has to do on information on one spot, conscious. When I first saw it, I thought, wow, that's how it should be. Yeah, that's the closest maybe we can get to do this. Or Dimitri is also here. Hey, feels like. Or he gets as close. It's a little bit more but Prima also does many things very right and comes in some corners closest to Rebol. Yeah, but as I said, it's not the same as this. What I wanted to answer you, they have since some years the GUI, what is another layer on top of the view, also the graphical system they call view, which is more native. There's one from the Windows port of it on screencast and goes a little bit in the direction of WX, but it's still not relegated like WX. Here is something else we also know from Perl 6, at least the idea from. They have that for years, folks. Which is also nice. Of course, they don't use regex, they have BNF, which also allows you to make recursive patterns like we since Perl 5.10 can do also.
Is this more short-circuiting, or is it trying to do some sort of longest token magic? suppose you put add on the same level star or star star. Would it match the star first, or would it match the star star first? Suppose the slash were star star instead.
After term.
Yeah.
Second.
Which term would it match if you had a star star in the input stream?
No,
No.
If here were two stars,
Not there. No,
In the grammar.
in the term expression.
if here were two,
Yeah.
here were two stars.
Yeah, well, if that was star, but if you turn the slash to a star star, would it match the star first, or would it match the star star first? Because it's longer.
It's like a greedy or
I know.
Is it matching like egraph or like Perl 5?
I don't know exactly, but I suppose it don't really matters, because one of the things I found, I think, too fast over in a slide way before, when I was showing you the nice picture of the man without a brain. Yeah. Oh, here, as you can say here, the operators don't really have also a precedence. That dieses 2 plus 3 makes 10. So they are in some ways really sloppy, and I suppose
They'll be applied left or right, but one of the semantics really
Is the provision of the operators unambiguous? It doesn't matter which operator you try to match first, if the grammar is completely unambiguous at the character level.
The question is,
If
when
you
the
have
grammar
If you write ambiguous grammar, how does it behave? It's probably too far afield for.
No, I understand now your question, but I think I don't have the answer now.
I wonder if within that term line there's not the possibility of a double star being compared to a single star. Maybe it's the context instead.
I mean, in a language this simple, I would kind of expect to say, well, if you're going to do that, put the star star first, just before it's
Yes, that's what
that's
I
short.
also-
That's the short circuiting.
That's what my answer. It's so simple that
That's the Perl 5 answer too, usually. But that's not the Perl 6 answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so far I follow the rest. Yeah. Like I showed you, the GUI is like a DSL, and the regex or the grammars are DSL. And I think in Ruby terms, it's very fashionable to talk about DSLs, and they do it also for years. Another thing from my script, which I showed you earlier, this rise time, what I show, I actually grab from this URL, like I showed with read, I take this HTML, then I parse it. What I want to show in this example here is that is the DNF, that also this parse is a DSL. That actually the DNFs they use is a language in the language, like Perl 6 does, which is very nice. And then that another really big and important thing, they engage the same parser that parses the language itself that you have at your fingertips when you're parsing yourself, so that you have all the type checking. And that's also a reason I showed you that tags, meaning XML or HTML tags, are native data type, because the parser is checking on that. And when you do parsing, you have checking as well, and use it if you parse this HTML. Yeah, that's why you, for instance, if you match in this, you could match in this HTML for some price, and have your data type money, and if it's correct spelled in this HTML, then you have a real correct matching on that as well, which I think it's really powerful, and it's also elegant, and it's also one of the reasons it can be so small, because they don't need no extra regex. They just use it what it's used anyway to parse their source code.
What I call it's what I call the one true language.
But which is when you think of it, it's a no-brainer. But Java and C# are not there yet. Yeah.
Lisp has a different idea of the one true language.
Yeah, of course. Of course, there are other DSLs like for functional programming and for OOP. There is what in general is a make command, but 2, 3 more. So you have so with functional, I mean making higher order function and all this stuff. You can do Rebol and also make objects. Of course, they are all kind of emulated, a little bit like Perl does, but as you have a special make command, the interpreter takes a little bit more care of things. So you, I think, could also have private variables, but I'm not exactly sure because I never use. I also seen that there are not real namespaces in that sense. You also not really have scopes in that sense. You just they have for function to go back. You have, like I said, with print and print, there's also for function, func and function. That is only what we call unnamed subroutines. This func is what you normally have when you define functions. This function is something which does more, therefore is more explicit, and where you actually have inside from the block, can you have variables that are local? Yeah. Can't impress people. I know. But and I also did a syntax trick in this case because all is always square brackets. There are sometimes to do real tricks to get things to work, as you expect. But that's also the difference between 5, what we had before, where you really just function and just make just a dense function. But here it's more like real world. You have all the loop, all the ifs, even things you don't have in Perl, like the either function. Okay, we have the ternary operator, but like the either, so you have one that's some comparison, and if first block, if not, the second block is in such system. But it's also nice about func that and function too, that there are some places in the header where you could insert just comments. 10 minutes, 15. I had only 5 slides. Where you can insert comments, and these comments then show up in the documentation. Where you can, what's it defining? Because that's also what I meant when I said they have the metadata part. Because once the interpreter knows which parameter they take, what type they had, and you write a comment behind it, what they are for, you get a good documentation almost for free. The rest is created. That's also what I made. They have a bundle where it's all packaged, where everyday needs of programmers are met. Of course, this programming in a small means that you have always a minimal solution for it. Then sometimes it's not enough, or not as elegant, or not as cozy as you would like to have it, but otherwise you wouldn't want to use Rebol. You have encryption, you have all the file formats, you have all this stuff. But when it comes to like a fat, nice chair when you sit in